members of the board and of the Alamogordo Public Schools, thank you for having us this evening. This is Tony Salinas, who is our business manager at Alamogordo School, at New Mexico State University Alamogordo, Kevin Howard, who is our bond advisor, and the legal counsel, Sam Gill. I also have with me back in the audience, no trying not to say anything, Sharon Fisher, our Chief Student Services Advisor, and officers, Nancy Montgomery, who is our facilities manager, and Dr. Bruce Martin, who is our institutional researcher. What I want to start with is talking about when I first arrived here in May. There was something on our agenda that was coming forward from the community, and that agenda item was that New Mexico State University of Alamogordo did not offer programming in the trades. And in fact, when you take a look at the state of New Mexico, we are the only comprehensive community college in the state with a population of over 1,000 students that does not offer programming in the areas of carpentry, welding, HVAC, automotive, and carpentry, welding, HVAC,
electrical plumbing.
Electrical plumbing. Thank you so much. So one of the things that we have been very intimately involved with is asking for $4 million from the state legislature, which is going up there right now. And in fact, also what we're looking for is a $5 million general obligation bond that we will going forward with the community as of April 1 if you approve us going forward with the election. What that money will be used for is $3 million to go forward to help us put in an automotive program and a welding program that would basically match what the state, we're asking the state for, in $4 million. The other $2 million would be used for renovations for existing structures on our campus. As our advisory board, you're the ones that need to come forward with the election call to our general population. And also I want to mention right up front that President Medina has been very helpful since I have been here. We have made several presentations to the Legislative Finance Committee, to HED, and as such, thank you so much for being here. Given that, I'll turn it over to our business manager and our bond advisory council.
I'll let Kevin speak about the general obligation.
Thank you very much, members of the board. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. We are asking that you approve an election. Actually, there's two resolutions. There's an election resolution proclamation and a more detailed resolution dictating the conduct of the election. And Sam will talk about those in just a minute. I'll try to just go over very briefly the financial aspects of the bond issue and give you a little background on that and some ideas of what the tax impact is, because I think everybody wants to know what that would be. You have a presentation in front of you, and on page 2 of that presentation, there's a history of the assessed valuation of, it's actually the assessed valuation of your school district because it's the same boundaries as the community college district. The valuation of the district has grown considerably over the last 10 years. The district currently has, when I refer to district, I'm talking about the community college district. The community college district currently has a bond issue that's outstanding, and this is the last year that that bond will be paid for. It'll actually be paid off as of the end of this tax year. So with the growth in the assessed value and the fact that the bond issue is almost all paid off, it's an excellent opportunity for the community college to take another bond to the voters. If you look on page 3 of the handout, you can see that the tax rates in the school district and the community college district over the last 5 years have been fairly stable and actually declining slightly. The total tax rate this year for residential tax purposes is 26.222, down from 27.229 last year. Most of that decrease is due to the fact that the branch college's bond rate dropped because this is in fact the last year of that bond issue, and it dropped down to 0.3 mils from practically 1 mil. It was almost 1 mil. So that decline accounted for a majority of that drop in the tax rate. If you look on page 5 of the handout, you'll see that we've listed the similar institutions around the state, community colleges and branch colleges and independent community colleges. And about halfway down there, you'll see the NMSU-A Alamogordo. The operating levy is 0.779, and the debt levy this current year is 0.3, for a total of 1.079. The total in the area, 26.222, the tax rate. That represents about 4%. The community college's levy represents about 4% of the total tax rate, and that's the second lowest in the state. There's only one lower, and that is Grant's branch community college. So I think when you look at what the high level is in the mid-teens, 16–17%, the community college has some room, I think, to maneuver in terms of tax rate. And what this bond issue would represent would be really just returning the community college back to the level of debt service tax rate that was in place last year and previous years during this bond issue. We have a page on that in the back. The time schedule that's been developed on page 7 has action this evening contemplated by the board and an election day of April 1st. Not exactly an ideal date in terms of April Fool's Day, but an ideal date nonetheless in terms of the state election calendar. There are regulations and rules on when you can have elections. We happen to be in a year this year where we've got a number of elections out there. We have the Democratic primary caucus that's coming up actually in early February, a municipal election in March, a primary election in June, and a general election in November. So the year is kind of crowded with elections. The April 1st date actually fits in very nicely between the municipal election and the primary election in June. So that's why the date was chosen. There are a number of things that need to occur prior to that election. The first thing is your action this evening. The second would be the Higher Education Department's approval. That's actually on this time schedule. It's scheduled for February 14th. Since we handed this in to you, we were notified that they moved that meeting up to February 12th, so it's just 2 days earlier. And then an action by the New Mexico State Board of Regents on March 10th at their regular meeting is also part of the program. So everything fits together nicely. The April 1 date is a good one in terms of statutory requirements. This will also allow the college, if approved by the voters, to move forward, issue the bonds, and establish a tax rate prior to next fall when the new tax rates take effect. So this all will fit in quite nicely in the scheme of tax rate setting and assessment. So it's a nice schedule, and we hope that we can move forward with it.